Hello, everyone. I'm going to be taking you into a trip into the history of the black man because the word in the universe is we're lost people and we're not. And when I say man, I mean one man too. You know, you get the drift, sucker. Come on now. Come on now. Alright, moving on. So, black people, where do we come from? We'll start right from the earliest time I can remember, because like I have to tell you, I am a spiritualist, and I interact and deal with energies all around me, and you and us. Okay, so moving on. And I have also lived several lives that I recall. So moving on, if we head back to Egypt, okay, the ancient Egyptian dynasty is the first. You know how that first thing goes, but it's the first kingdom to properly form a way to live togetherness with a people and a government and businesses functioning to keep everything in order. Ancient Egyptians were the first ones to learn how to master that, and by being the first ones to learn how to master that, they were the world's original rulers. Okay, to put it plain out. And yes, black person in America. Yes, Puerto Rican person in America. Yes, everybody that's colored in America, and white folks too. It's in traces. This is where you came from. So, moving on. All right. So, being that you had this dynasty coming, boom, power. Egypt was very powerful. All right, and the way the Egyptian inner working, how it worked was, you had the queen, and the queen was believed to be the descendant of the gods. So she herself was a god, and she was the gift. She was the gift to man. The queen, came to the planet from God as God in the physical form to give man a gift, and that was child. So that's what the ancient Egyptians believed. So I guess it would be similar in a way where Christians believe that God, this man, gave his son to earth as a gift. Well, the ancient Egyptians believed God, this woman, gave her daughter to earth as a gift. So that's the difference. If that's the difference in the way they work, or what we believe now versus what we believed originally. Okay, so moving on. All right, so the queen, she ruled everything. The queen, she ruled everything, and the king was her humble servant. That's how it worked. But the queen gave everything to the king. So it was an exchange of power that went on within a household. You would have God's gift with the king of the land. And it, being God's gift doesn't mean you were a pretty lady. At this time, being God's gift meant that you were not human. It meant you weren't even a human being. It meant you were like some celestial being. You came from somewhere else. You weren't born here. You came from somewhere else, planted here, and started moving through blood. But you weren't even human. You were a god or an alien. I'm telling you with the ancient Egypt, how they rolled, man. The queen was an alien. And then she mixed with the man. The man that God or the aliens chose. And they made him Pharaoh. And they mixed their bloods. And the queen ruled. And the kings made sure that this celestial being ruled how she needed to. Because you couldn't get next to the queen. You know, the king was there. He was like what we would consider in these days a really good husband. Because, you know, like a really good husband, he would always be there next to his wife. And if she was going through anything, he would be the first one there trying to tackle the problem. And if there was something wrong with her, there was something wrong with him. And, you know, he had sex with her as she pleased and needed or wanted. And he made sure he was good. So it's just like being a really good husband, I guess. But back in these times, it was a pharaoh, and he ruled the land. But in return, the queen would then give him all of her power, which is everything, because she ruled everything. So you got this really powerful guy now. When you think of ancient Egypt and all the power, what do you think of? You think of the pharaoh. You think of like, oh yeah, the pharaoh ruled everything. But that's because that's how it was an exchange. But in all actuality, the queen ruled everything. So I'm going to end this session now there, and you can pick me up on my next video, and I'll continue from there in ancient Egypt when we got to the point where the queen was in fact a celestial being, and she ruled everything and gave it to her pharaoh man. All right, so we'll end it there, and we'll catch you next time.